Hey guys, welcome back to the LA Island Radio Show. The last song was called Gotta Be by the group The Green.
Yes, everybody, we do have a special guest with us, ladies and gentlemen. We got Cheryl Coleman, and local realtor, but she works for the biggest real estate company in the world. Isn't that something? Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, that's right. I work for Keller Williams Realty International, and we have offices all over the world. So even though most of my business is here in California, I do refer people to
across the world.
All over the world, yeah.
And then you're saying that you got a deal over in Israel for $77 million.
I'll be advertising a $77 million home in Israel next week.
What's all in that home? Is it like a 40-something million, bedrooms?
Yeah, it's a pretty big home. But, I've also advertised condos in Dubai that were only $400,000, and you'd think Dubai would be, really rich. So it's interesting. I used to travel the world as a negotiator for an airline, and it's just every country's so different. And I think the U.S. is the only place where people truly pay full price for anything. Everywhere else, it's negotiate, barter, bid.
Really?
Even you walk into a jewelry store. I worked in Malaysia for a while, and it took 3 days to buy a ring. You'd say a price, and they'd say no. You come back the next day, another price. By the third day, you bought the ring.
Is that right?
So just very different.
So we are going to go to Malaysia and buy a ring.
Yeah, go to Malaysia and buy some jewelry. yeah.
Not buying the first day, not the second day, the third day. You get a deal.
Third day. It takes 3 days to buy anything good. That's right.
Prices changes as the days goes by. There you go. Well, it's good to know. Most people don't know that.
Yeah, U.S. is very different in every way. I mean, even in real estate, a lot of it is a handshake and a bag of cash, or they have one agent that handles both the buyers and the sellers. But here we have, one agent that handles the listing side, one agent that handles the buyer side. And it's because we have so many lawsuits, too. California being one of the worst. So you really need somebody on your side that's protecting you.
But I feel like it's a safety issue, or make sure this is absolutely 100% is yours.
Yeah.
And nothing can come in a way and take it away from you from under your feet or something in the backside. It's like, wait a minute, no. I do believe, I have friends that came from other part of the world, and they say this is the place that really kind of stand and stick onto their law or their system.
Yeah, and you typically get title insurance when you buy a home. So we have title reps who go through and just look for the chain of title and see, that the Indians aren't going to come back and take your property. I mean, those things happen, and you look at Mexico, there was a whole little group of retired U.S. citizens that bought up kind of a little town, and not realizing they didn't own the land. And one day they lost it.
Land is gone.
So you got to be really, really careful.
So that means that says a lot about what we do here, besides the outside world and the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So, that's good to know. Yeah. And what are you thinking about this market right now, or how things are changing? Is it a good or bad, or is it whose favorite is, or how you want to explain this?
It's still a great market. I've been doing this for 20 years. I actually got my license in college, bought my first house when I was 17 years old. But I had some really big jobs, working for the airline. I was director of sales for a medical company, and so I was buying property for myself. I bought like 18 homes over the years. But when I moved to California, I decided, you know what, I should be selling real estate. And I've been fortunate to do really well. But I've never seen a market change this fast.
Okay.
So we went from a hot seller's market where crazy bidding wars, prices going way over asking. And now interest rates just shot up. They doubled. They're still good compared to years ago. But when you went from 2.5% to 5.5%, that's a big difference on a monthly payment, especially when all the homes are $1 million. So it's tough. So now we're very quickly seeing more homes on the market, homes staying on the market longer. buyers hitting that affordability factor that they can't buy the $1 million house, now they can buy the $900,000 home. So you'll start to see that level out. But we needed a correction. We really needed a correction. It was getting ridiculous. And I think the buyers need to get back out there and try again. Interest rates will most likely, all the economists, the real estate economists are saying interest rates are going to go down again next year. So now's your chance to buy and refinance. I refinanced all my homes at 2.5% on this last year. So people have a chance to do that, but now's the time to buy.
It seems like 5% is a lot, but actually it's not really. It's still, I think it's real good. I remember back in a long time, it was up to 11, 15. I go, whoa.
Yeah, I know my husband said when he bought his first house, it was 17%.
Yeah, it's like, ouch.
Yeah.
5? That's nothing. That's good.
Yeah.
But it seems like it's high now. It's like, 5? Okay.
And remember the interest you can write off on your taxes, too.
Right.
So that's why I don't pay off my mortgages. I need that write-off.
Oh, okay.
So,
that's something that you have to look into and keep in mind. And so is the buyer's market right now? Is that where you...
It's not a buyer's market yet because we still have low inventory. All those people like me that refinanced at 2.5% are sitting comfortably on their homes.
Right.
A lot of investors kind of tired of tenants, especially what they had to go through with COVID.
Right.
The landlords didn't get a lot of relief. California is a tenant-friendly state in every way, so it's tough for landlords to fight back. So a lot of landlords are retiring and just unloading the properties. But we have alternatives, so they don't have to pay that capital gains tax. Where they don't have to buy another property with a landlord. They can invest in a medical facility or a storage facility, something where they're not dealing with landlords, So we can help them with that.
Oh, right.
So in fact, after this show, I've got a lady that owns 2 homes downtown. She's in her 80s. She doesn't want to pay taxes, but she doesn't want to deal with the tenants anymore. So we've got a plan for that.
So you just have to find the best scenario way to go about it.
Yeah, and I try and stay educated on every scenario out there so I can truly help people,
It's really tough. I believe California has a really, really strict in the way of how all this play out from capital gains and taxes and I mean, it's just it's really something that people don't realize. And a lot of landlords are unaware that even though you might have homes in a city that don't have a rent cap, the state of California has a rent cap at 10%. Is that right?
So, in fact, one of the gals on my team, she lives in a place with a bunch of tenants, and they tried to raise their rent up 15 to 20%, and she slapped that on him, and he said, "Oh my gosh, you're right. I had no idea." So it's sad that so many uneducated landlords out there may be taking advantage of tenants as well. They need to know the laws, but the state needs to give the landlords more of a break as well.
Okay. All right. So what are we going to do? It's and even the rent apartment is like up crazy.
Rents are up crazy, and a lot of landlords are way low on their rents. I'll run into people that go, "Well, I really like my tenant. I really didn't need the money, so I haven't raised the rent in 15 years." And I'm like, "Well, guess what? When I sell your property, the tenant comes with the property. So that means your property's only worth what that rent was 15 years ago. You're not doing yourself a favor by not raising the rent each year."
Oh, okay.
So landlords really... they need to raise that rent every year so that when they go to sell, they're not way behind, because tenants come with the property. You can't kick them out.
Right.
You can sell it if you're going to sell it to someone that's going to live there and keep it as their residence.
Okay.
But you can't kick a tenant out, then sell it, and allow someone to come in and rent it. They can't. That's another thing that California protects the tenants on. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's so much going on that we don't pay attention to.
Yeah.
We don't
well,
know.
people don't know that education isn't out there till you get the fine or you
Right.
get caught or you go to court. Then you find out, which is sad.
What am I supposed to do here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, let's call Cheryl, and she'll help us out.
Yeah,
Well, we'll be
yeah.
right back. Call us, 747-214-1744. Stay, don't go anywhere. Well, we have Cheryl Coleman here, and she's going to help us to talk a little bit about seniors and the things that it has pros and cons, or is that fair to say, or is it better to say?
We have Prop 19 now in California, and the pros are the challenges we were having were seniors were moving out of these great big homes into a single story, but sometimes the single stories were more expensive than those two-story homes, especially with all the baby boomers.
Okay.
Everybody's looking for single stories, and they couldn't bring their tax base with them. So, let's say they bought their house 50 years ago. They're not paying a big tax,
Right.
property tax bill.
It was 50 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, imagine. So this allows them to take their tax base with them, and the only thing they'd have the extra tax on would be the difference between what the home sold for and what the new home bought,
Okay.
where it used to be the whole thing.
Oh, was it?
And then the only people that are a little upset about this are the children that, let's say, mom and dad passed away. And if they're going to live in that house as their primary residence, they can keep that tax base.
Oh, okay.
But if they're going to rent it out, which a lot of them do, they're going to pay taxes on it. Which, frankly, if you're making money, you should be paying taxes. So I don't think it's such a bad thing. But
what do you mean by making money if you rent it out?
You're renting it out. You're getting income off of mom and dad's house, which there's probably no mortgage on anymore.
Okay.
So yeah, you're not going to be able to keep mom and dad's tax base. Whereas if you're going to move into it and make it your primary residence, then you can.
Okay.
But let's face it, if you're making money, you got to pay Uncle Sam.
Yeah,
So
Uncle Sam wants his fair
they should
share.
get some of that. So I'm in totally agreement with Prop 19. I think it really benefits the seniors. So and see, we do a lot for seniors. I'll never forget. My parents are both passed, but years ago, my dad called and just out of the blue, Cheryl, you got to come get us. Mom can't remember anything. She's driving me crazy. I can't take care of the house. Please help. And, they're living in Gulfport, Mississippi. I'm here in California. I'm like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Who do I call? Where do I put them? So I had to do a lot of research on assisted living because I have a split level home with stairs everywhere. That wouldn't work. He wanted to go to assisted living. My dad had everything in line from long-term care insurance, even donating his body to
search doctor.
Yeah, when he passed away. He had everything in line, no bills, just amazing man.
Living the rest of his life the way he wanted
didn't ever want to be a burden to me. But this was a bit of a burden, so I had to fly to Gulfport, Mississippi. I got to sell the house. I got to pack up the stuff. Got to find them a place here. And it took a few months.
Right.
Got to go get them on an airplane. And this was right after 9/11 when they're making 80-year-olds take their shoes off. For goodness sakes, it was just crazy. But later I thought no one should have to go through that. It's especially when you're in different states. So I said, we're going to make this part of our program. We're going to have a senior program. So we're not going to charge to clean out a house. We'll bring in an estate sale company. We work with a couple of them. Anything that doesn't sell, we'll either donate and we'll give them the receipts. We'll, if they're moving to assisted living, we'll move them for free. We'll find out, look at what things need to be brought to assisted living. I'm even very tight with a lot of the assisted living facilities here in Orange County. So I help get them the best monthly payments and help guide them as to what assisted living would be best for them, because there are prices from $2,500 up to $15,000 a month, So, but what do they really need, and what do they want? And then we will, if the home needs to be fixed up, I have a contractor crew that comes in, they fix up the house. That comes out of escrow, so there's no upfront money. We stage it with furniture free. There's no furniture rental. We don't charge to stage it. Luckily, my husband is a retired truck driver, And we have 7 kids, but the youngest is a personal trainer, so he can pick up a couch with one hand. So he helps me stage the homes. So it's kind of a family deal, and I have a team of wonderful realtors that work with me. So we just get it all done, and then we get top dollar for the home. My background is marketing. I was traveling around the world negotiating and marketing, and those are the 2 things I love to do the most. So I'm really able to help those seniors, and there's no extra cost. It's just part of our service that we do, which is really nice.
That's really something that they really come in handy when they get to that point in their lives.
Yeah,
and they really need somebody to come out and take care of the rest of it. And
it's even harder too when the parents have passed and the grown children live in another state. So I get a lot of referrals from trust attorneys, probate attorneys. And, I remember the woman called me. Her mom had just died a week ago. It's funny how many people call me right after their parents pass away. And I get to the house, and family, relatives are all just running around, not knowing what to do. And I had everybody sit down at the table, and I go, "What are you doing?" They go, "We don't even know." And I said, "Well, what do you want from this home?" They go, "Really nothing." I said, "Okay, then give me the keys, and I'll take care of everything." And the daughter broke down in tears. And I even get emotional. She goes, right. I think God sent you to me, And I get that a lot. And that's why I do it, because I don't want anybody to go through what I went through, and to be able to do that for them. And they are our most grateful of all clients. They've got enough to deal with. They've got a trust. They've got burial arrangements. They've got checking accounts. There's so many things they have to do.
They got siblings and families. And whatever. That's not easy either.
And a lot of times I sit with the entire family. I did that last year as well. They invited me, the cousins, all the kids. I was almost on a stage with the whole family there, telling them how we're going to help them. But it's great to be able to do that. And of all our clients, they truly are the most grateful, and I know why personally.
Well, I think they needed you in those times, because people that never went or gone through it, they don't realize it's changed things when these things happen at that moment, and when they pass on. Things are just spinning like full speed in circles, and just go, okay, who's who, what they're supposed to do, who's in charge, who's going to do what, and they got, I don't know.
And there's typically one sibling who gets everything thrown at them. I find that almost all the time, that there's one, and the rest of them kind of just want their money. What we doing? Who's get what? Are we at that point yet? So, well, that's great. Well, give me your information. Tell them to contact you when these things come up, to reach out to you. Sure. You can call directly on my cell number. So I'm Cheryl Coleman with Keller Williams Realty, and my cell is 714-717-1728. And call or text me. That's the best way to get in touch with me. I get about 500 emails a day, so that takes a little longer. That's all. So just give me a call. All right. We'll be right back. Alligator Radio Show. You can call in right here now at 747-214-1744. We'll be right back.